Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode. Here today for round 9 of season 2 for the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. And guys, if you missed the last episode at the French Grand Prix, watch the video by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen before we jump into any further spoilers, because a lot's happened in the last couple of races, especially the last one as well. It was a very, very intense, chaotic, and also entertaining race, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. And yeah, we arrive here at Austria. No chance of rain this weekend, which is good. We've also got a small chassis upgrade on the car. It was meant to arrive 2 races ago, but it failed, and we had to save up some points, and we managed to buy it in the last episode for this episode. And in terms of R&D, Haas, again, still pushing on. Pretty much the only team to bring any kind of major upgrade to this race. Everyone's seemingly taking a bit of an off race, and only us and Haas bringing upgrades. Haas are now the quickest team on the grid, and I did not believe for 1 minute I'd be saying that at the start of the season. I really thought Red Bull were untouchable, and they still are in many regards. Haas, they must have like a ridiculous amount of R&D points saved up. So yeah, Haas making the challenge and challenging and pushing the Red Bulls to the limit, and hopefully we can try and catch up, because as you guys know, we've got a ultimate aero upgrade on the way for Hungary. That's going to take a couple of weeks to arrive. And also in the last episode we signed a contract as the first driver, and we've got all of the contract perks now. So the R&D points, we're going to gain as many as we can now. We won't be able to gain any more than this. So if the upgrades don't come quick enough, then that it is where it is. We can't do anything else. And this race, in my opinion, is very much crunch time. This race, and I'd say probably up until Hungary, the next 2, 3, 4 races are going to be really, really important, because I think it's going to make or break our season. We are 150 points off in the constructors off Red Bull, and we are second in the terms of Ferrari. And in the Drivers' Championship, I'm about 50 points behind Hamilton. Now, the Drivers is possibly attainable. The constructors is looking pretty tough already, as we're nearly halfway through the season. So I'm going to use the next 3, 4 races to judge if it's worth still pushing on in this season, or if it's worth doing some upgrades, for example, department efficiency, to reduce the chance of failures, and also to make the upgrades cheaper going into next season and making it worth it, because I want to win both championships in the same season with Ferrari. That's the objective, because that's what I set out to do since day one. So again, I've got one eye on next season, considering where everybody is on the grid. Is it worth me pushing on the season when we're so far behind? Or do I, refocus, reevaluate, and maybe try next season to really take a massive step forward? So like I said, I'm going to really go for it. And starting from this race, I'm going to give it 125%, give it anything that I've got, and just throw everything at it and see if it works. I'm going to be super aggressive and basically scratch and claw for every single point I can get. Not that I wasn't doing that before, but now I'm going to take basically all the risks I can and leave no stone unturned. So yeah, we jump into qualifying, and as you can see in Q1 here, we're on the soft compound tyres, and the car felt fantastic around here. You saw a moment ago in practice, we hit all the practice programs, and in Q1 we go P8. A little bit of a concern that we seem to be losing about half a second through Sector 3 alone, which is a little bit worrying. We're normally quickest through Sector 1, and then through Sector 2 we'll lose about 2-3 tenths, and then the final sector about half a second. So a little bit concerning, as in Q1 we go through there, as you can see in P7. But now into Q2, I went for 2 runs in this session, because my first one, we was 2 tenths off through Sector 2, and I thought to myself, you know what, this is a pretty good lap actually. But then in the final sector, it felt fine. I thought I did a good job, to me it felt decent, the car was working good. You can see there, the very nice lines, and not really making any mistakes, yet somehow we lost half a second again through the final sector. But we're only 7 tenths off the top, but that is only P10 for us, so I had to go out again because we were under pressure. So a rare use of a second set of tyres in Q2. Also, it's better now because patch 1.06 came out yesterday, and tyre wear is now scaled to 100% races in qualifying, which means tyre wear in qualifying is a lot less now. So you go into the race with much fresher tyres, which is much more realistic in terms of what we've had before in this. So that's really, really good, and that means we can afford to push a little bit on the outlap. And currently on my second attempt, you can see here, fastest by 2 tenths in Sector 1. We got a fantastic tow from Charles Leclerc up the hill, and Sector 1 was my strong point. Purple Sector 1, 2 tenths up on Charles Leclerc. Now through Sector 2, go down towards Turn 4 here, all about just tapping the inside curve and smoothly on the power. And we threw away a bit of the delta. I broke a little bit too early into Turn 4. I could have broken a lot later, and we lost about a tenth. Now going through Turn 6 now and into Turn 7. It's all about the grip and the pure aerodynamic downforce your car has as we drop a couple of tenths. We dropped 4 tenths in the second sector to be exact, and we're now 2 tenths down overall on Charles Leclerc. So we need to find a lot more time in this final sector. Using the overtake, we run a little bit wide there through Turn 9, but this time through Turn 10 we go a lot more aggressive and get a good exit. But even then we get a bit of oversteer. Somehow though, it's much faster and we improve up to P8 and find 0.3 of a second somehow, even though it was far more scruffy than my previous run. Nonetheless, we go through in P8 in Q2, just behind Sebastian Vettel. So overall, a decent session. Haas and Red Bull looking pretty strong. Mercedes a little bit further back. And yeah, overall, decent stuff for us, as both McLarens also joined us in Q3, I believe, for the first time this season. So McLaren also, they've been improving a lot lately. But now we're going to run on board for my best lap in Q3. And surprisingly, it was my first run, and it was on used tyres from Q2. So let's see how we get on. Sorry, these, actually no, Q1 tyres. These were the ones I used in Q1. So they were 4% worn when I started up using them, and they're around 6% worn now on the car at the minute. But as you can see, turn 1 and then turn 2 and then turn 3, pretty damn good. Sector 1, 2/10 up on Lucas Weber. Now we open up DRS on the back straight and going towards sector 2 now, looking towards the apex of turn 4, braking just after the 100 meter board. And again, make sure you just tap that inside curve, look like I'm on the front right, and then on the power smoothly on the exit. Keep it nice and tight to the right hand side and open up the next left for turn 5 here. And sorry, turn 6, and it's all about keeping a nice tight line. Let the car then run wide down the hill and then tuck it in for turn 7 as we now go flat out through 8, and now 2 more corners to go here. And so far, a pretty good lap to be fair. It's all about this final sector if I can just hook it up. And this time, to be fair, I was much happier with it. Even then, I still ran a bit wide at turn 9 and also turn 10 as well. You know, I missed my apexes both times, but for some reason it resulted in more pace. So we did a 10.3, which is sorry, a 1 minute 03.6, if I can get my words out. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty good lap. And my final run, we cut through turn 9. I took too much of a risk on my final one, and yeah, it was disappointing because as you can see, I would have improved by nearly 0.2 just because I missed my apexes last time. So overall, I reckon a 0.4 was possible. Ultimately, would it have changed the position I'm in? I'm not so sure. I think Magnussen had a little bit too much pace, so I think it would have been P6 regardless. So overall, I'm not too disappointed, and we managed to just edge out Sebastian Vettel, just like in Paul Ricard, just a fraction quicker than my teammate. So yeah, we're on 106% AI around here, exactly the same as last season. So overall, a pretty decent qualifying. But now we're going to move into the race, where last season the video was blocked for about 3 weeks, but in that race, if you did see it, we went backwards in the race. So let's see how it pans out. Either way, it's time for the race. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's jump into it. It's race time.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix and the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Anthony Davidson joins me to talk you through the action here today at what is quite an unusual racetrack, wouldn't you say, Ant?
Yeah, it's quite an odd layout around here. The thing about Austria is that it's a harder circuit to master than what really meets the eye. On top of that, it's a low grip surface, and that means that your small mistakes end up being punished, and it's very easy to slide wide into the runoff area and lose a huge chunk of time. Luckily, because it's such a short circuit though, you have plenty of opportunities to perfect the lap.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Devon Butler lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Weber, Hamilton, Kevin Magnussen, Martinez, Vettel, Norris, Sainz, and Daniel Ricciardo, Perez, Raikkonen, Valtteri Bottas, and Verstappen, Russell, Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll, and Pierre Gasly. Kvyat and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid, P6 for the Austrian Grand Prix on the third row alongside Kevin Magnussen, and we're going to start the race on the dirty side of the grid. Sebastian Vettel just behind in P7, and it's going to be a tricky race, guys. I think last season here, obviously this video was blocked for a long time, but those of you that did watch it will know that the race was not great. We went backwards in the race, so I'm kind of hoping to avoid last year and have a better performance this year around, and hopefully we do score some decent points at the end of it. I think the target, to be honest, is probably to get into the top 4. I think that's possible. In terms of race strategy, then we're going to start the race on the soft tyres that we qualified on in Q2, and then move on to the mediums in the second stint. And in terms of fuel, we're going to run 1 lap extra fuel, so a little bit less than what we've done recently, but still relatively heavy and enough to try and attack and defend if necessary. Now, I think overall I'm going to first of all try and get a good start, which is something I struggle with big time in this year's game, and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to try and be aggressive on the opening couple of laps this time, really try and push the limits and see if I can at least get into the top 5, get past Magnussen and take it from there. But with that being said, let's jump into it and let's see how we get on. It's time for round number 9 of Season 2 for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs into the sweet spot. 5 lights are on. Lights are on, away we go. Good reaction to the 5 lights, got away quite well. We're going to get a free choice of line in terms of turn 1. We're going to go outside or inside. We're going to go narrow to the apex. Let's see how we get on here. Let's try and get a slipstream. Hamilton here down to P5. We're going to slip to the inside. 3 wide here. Can we make a move? Down the inside, very close to Lucas Weber there. Massive send into the hairpin. A triple overtake.
We're looking good from the start.
I said I'd be aggressive, and that was a huge dive bomb. Absolutely massive. Lucas Weber, Charles Leclerc in front. Devon Butler's behind, so he could probably hold up a couple of cars, to be honest. I think I've got better pace than him. So I'm going to try and use that to pull away and solidify my P3. Let's see if we have good race pace this year. I'm curious to see if we can hang with the big boys, and hopefully we can try and not let Weber and Leclerc run away. And I'm just praying somehow the Ferrari is a bit more competitive on Sunday here. But so far, fantastic lap 1. That was a brilliant triple overtake. Kept it clean, no real contact, kept the front wing in one piece. Now we've got to try and pull away here because Butler's on my rear end already, and slipstream is very powerful around here. Charles Leclerc set the pace.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
There you go, DRS now available. Devon Butler behind is going to start using it, so we need to try and pull away if we can. 3 DRS zones around here, very easy to fall into battles. Hopefully Devon gets in a battle with Lewis and a few cars behind, as Lucas Weber is going to try and put a move on Charles Leclerc for P1 here, so let's try and catch up to these guys if we can. Yellow flag here in this part of the track. Someone's had an issue. I think it's a Renault. I think it might be a Renault further behind. Nice in McLaren, Carlos Sainz. So there you go, Sainz in the McLaren retires. Not for the first time this season. Meanwhile, Leclerc and Weber still going at it here for first place, and I'm just able to hang on. I wish I could get within DRS. If I could get within DRS, that'd be fantastic, but I can't quite close that gap, which is frustrating. Keeping Butler behind though is just good, so at least there's some positives to it. Now we're within DRS, finally I made it. Had to burn a little bit more ERS and fuel there, but we've made it. And now we can hold on. You can see that on the minimap, the breakaway of cars. It's all about slipstream here.
Yellow flag.
This circuit is literally just a DRS slipstream fest. And if you've got a slipstream, you're going to be good. So that's where we need to be. There's Carlos Sainz, who we just passed, who's out of the race now. We're in this race though, this is good. Much better than last season. Just got to be very intelligent and smart the way we pick our battles. Got to say both myself and Devon Butler really are punching above our weight with the cars that we've got. Devon's just starting to drop back a little bit. I'm able to hang on to Leclerc here and save a little bit of fuel. We've got the perfect DRS and slipstream range that we can keep up, and I'm quick enough to be able to hold on through this section where there's lots of corners, and that's really, really good. Okay, Devon Butler's just dropped out of DRS now, so it's becoming a bit of a 3-car breakaway here. But I'm not going to commit to anything because I don't have the pace to pull away. I'm much better off just sitting behind and following these guys because I don't have the pace to pull away. I really don't. I could have the pace for like 1 or 2 laps if I turned the engine up to full whack and went for qualifying laps, but that would only last like 2 laps and then they'd probably catch me back up, so there's no point. I've just dropped out of DRS here. Looks like Leclerc's getting a move on. And he's going to try and overtake Weber. Meanwhile, Butler's dropped out of P4. Contact there between these two as we have a bit of a moment there through turn 1, losing the back end slightly. Got to be careful with that. DRS is very efficient around here, which is good to see. I can save it up quite easily. Just got to try and hang with these guys and make sure I make no mistakes and don't drop out of DRS like I did just there, because we'll feel the pain of that. Meanwhile, there's a huge battle going on behind. Lewis, Butler, Magnussen all going at it, exchanging positions. And there's a bit of a free car breakaway here, which is good. Tyres are also starting to go a little bit. We've got to try and get to lap 15 though, so we've got quite a way to go yet on these. We'll be going into the 60% tyre wear region eventually once we come in. Leclerc's overtaking Weber here. I haven't even got DRS, and look at the speed difference I've got over the Red Bull. Just going to sit behind him. Like I said, I'm not going to commit to anything. If we want to be in this race long haul, long term, it's important for me to not battle these guys and not take the lead, because I'm going to hurt my race, hurt my tyres, hurt my engine when there's no point. I've got to time it correctly. So for example, when we get near the pit stop phase,
Okay, we're starting to see a bit of tyre wear. You shouldn't have too much trouble for the time being, but the grip is going to start falling away.
yeah, it's definitely noticeable. As I was saying though, once we start getting near the pit stop phase, then maybe I might make something happen, but at the minute it's all about just hanging on. You can see how much I lose through sector 2, through the corners, so it's definitely not easy. It does look like Leclerc is trying to get a move on here. Maybe goes defensive into turn 4, but Leclerc's got a good little gap, to be fair, starting to form, and don't want to let him go, so I might have to pass Weber here to stay in touch unless Weber picks up the pace. Let's see what happens.
Increase ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
Yeah, I'm on it, Jeff, don't worry mate. I'm going to try and pass Weber here. Leclerc's getting away and I don't want that. Weber hasn't even got DRS now, you can see the difference, so we're going to fly past. See if we can catch up to Leclerc. No DRS on Leclerc on this straight, but hopefully if we keep it in high engine mode this lap, we should be able to get back within range, hopefully. It depends how good my second sector is. Oh, that's not good at all, really struggling on tyres. I'm leaving Weber behind, he's really dropped off the pace. Lucas Weber cannot keep up. I'm struggling to keep up with Leclerc as well, to be honest. His change of pace has really shaken things up. Just trying to hold on if I can, because that's the race win right there, and I think I've got an outside chance if we do the race correctly. Ooh, Leclerc's pitting in. Interesting strategy. Will he go for the hard tyres? Let's find out. I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to see or not. I think we're going to miss it on the top left. I don't think we'll be able to catch it in time. But that's an early stop, that is. Surprising. So we're going to take first place. Very unexpected. Did not expect this coming into this race at all, considering our qualifying pace. But we're here, so let's keep with it. Right, so we've made it.
Some information on Norris. They're retiring from the race.
As Lando Norris retires in the McLaren. A safety car.
The gap to the car behind is 7.4 seconds.
Or a VSC would be greatly appreciated right now, but either way, into the pit lane we go. Trying to be aggressive here. Get it all slowed down. There we go, that'll do. Not as aggressive as it could have been, but good enough. Now we need a good stop from the boys. Come on, a 2-second flat, please.
Complete, go now.
Fantastic, 1.9. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Sebastian's going to take the lead for now. Leclerc's on hard tyres, so there you go. My suspicion is confirmed.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
This is going to be close. We rejoin just in front of Weber and Daniel Ricciardo. It's going to be a drag race with the Renault. Weber trying to come through, but there's a bit of a roadblock. I'm on the inside line here on the narrowest line. We're going to hold on. There we go, that'll do. So we rejoin in front of Weber. The undercut doesn't quite work. Leclerc's got a big gap in front. So let's try and hunt him down if we can. Seb pits in. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and go for a purple lap here and try and secure that extra point. So we're going to give everything as we retake P2. What a middle sector. Actually went purple, which is probably surprising considering it's probably one of my weaker sectors. Sector 3 being my worst, but we've managed to get ourselves back within Leclerc's DRS. We've got so much more pace than him. And we're going to get DRS to finish the lap and set a purple lap in the process into the 105s. And now let's try and get a move on Leclerc done and take back first place, which is something I never thought I'd be saying in this race, but we've really come alive here today. The race pace is fantastic. The car's working brilliantly. We've got the run Leclerc here, but I'm not going to go for it just now. I'll wait until the next straight. That was a little bit of a tap there. Leclerc kind of got on the brakes there, kind of brake checked me a little bit. Caught me out. We're going to have to turn the engine up here because we've lost a bit of momentum. Not quite going to work out, unfortunately. A little brake tap there from Leclerc. Caught me out. Could have had some wing damage there. Luckily enough, I think I've got away with it. We'll try again next time round. Alright, let's get the job done this time. DRS on the pit straight. Let's set him up. I'm going to go for the move into turn 3.
Behind is gaining on you by 0.5 a lap.
Instead of waiting until turn 4, we'll go for it now. Out of here, good exit. Weber's close, but here we go. We're gaining on Leclerc now. Overtake mode engaged. Look at the speed differences. Ferrari can still go on the straight. Wasn't quite close enough though. This time though, we're going to avoid the little brake check from Leclerc. We're going to pull to the inside, and this time, that's what I'm talking about. Leclerc's going to try and out-drag me, but we're going to pick up the DRS, and there we go. We're going to start to pull forward. Hot on the brakes, I'm going to overdo it. That's going to invite Leclerc on the switchback, and he gets it. Wow, fair enough. Completely overdone it on the brakes. DRS caught me out, the overspeed caught me out, taking a narrow line as well. Leclerc holding on here at the minute, doing really well. Okay, this is the one. Third time the charm. Leclerc defensive into 1, switchback. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. This time, the move is done. No questions asked. Weber's going to try and come through. I'm going to try and give Leclerc a slipstream if I can. Weber going all the way around the outside, but I'm going to get the squeeze on, a la Max Verstappen. And there we go, first place. Can we pull away and get out of a second DRS? Do we have the pace for that? I've just started to stretch Weber here. Gap is 0.8. I'm close. This is where Weber picks up the pace. I need to try a little bit harder, but we're almost there. Almost there. Track extension, first one of the race, pushing the limits a little bit too much. Looks like Weber's turned the engine up, and he's starting to put the pressure on. And I don't really have the ERS or fuel to defend from. Here comes Weber. He's got the run. He'll have the momentum. I'm going to show him to the inside. Let him have the compromised line. Oh, that's a block. Block and a half, that is. We're going to miss out on DRS, so Weber's going to retake first place. That's fine. It'll give me a chance to save fuel on ERS, and we'll try again. See, now it's when it becomes a chess match. I'm going to follow Lucas now for a couple of laps, get everything charged up, and then I'll try again, and this time leave him behind by pumping in a couple of strong laps. Although Lucas is really going for it here, really pulling away. I can just see an acceleration, how much he goes on the straight. His name tag just vanishes. Look at that, Lucas really going for this, and I've got nothing to respond with, unfortunately. Just got to hope I can stay within DRS, which we do. I am just grasping onto Lucas's DRS, hanging in there just within a second, but Lucas is really going for this, and I can't respond. Like, I'm just hanging on because of DRS. I really don't have the pace to respond. ERS is charging up, which is good. Fuel is still very, very marginal, and we're approaching the final 10 laps. You can really tell there how Lucas turned down the engine, by the way. You can see towards the end of the straight how he really dropped off, and you can see here how he's not really accelerating that much. So it looks like his attempt to try and stretch has not worked out, so he's now going to run standard engine mode for a bit and come back down to earth for a little while. So now's our chance to make something happen, because I'm charging everything up now. So now it's my turn to put the pressure on. This is what I meant by it's a chess game. You try to stretch and the opposition and try to pull away whenever you get the chance. It's important not to forget Leclerc in all of this. He's only 1.8 behind, and those tyres are going to start to come good now once our mediums start to fade. So
Okay, battery's looking good. You can use overtake to get past.
yeah, whenever I make this move on Weber, I've got to make sure it sticks first time, because I need to pull away. I really do.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
But I'm going to try and make something happen now before it gets too late. Weber's still got very strong pace, but I'm going to try my best and see if I can maybe upset the apple cart a little bit. Hot lap mode engaged. We've got the one. Here we go, up towards turn 3. I thought about it, but we're going to back off and get the exit instead. Traction down, there we go. On the grass a little bit there. Side by side with Lucas Weber. Inside line.
Good job, nice overtake.
We can Push him out wide, take the racing line, there we go. Right, let's see if I can stretch him in standard engine mode. And then starting next lap, I'll turn up the engine and burn everything I've got. Right, engine turn up.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Let's give it everything and let's see what we've got left in the tank. Can we try and win this race? Can we stretch Weber here? Catching up to lap Bottas here. I'll get some free DRS, which is good. Hopefully Valtteri moves out of the way though.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
That's going to be awkward for Weber, the way Bottas got out of the way there. Right at the last second. That's going to cost Weber some time. And I think he might be out of a second here. This could be the one. Yes, he is. There you go, 1.1. Let's try and pull away if we can. Weber's pushing again. He's back within a second. Luckily, we've got a little bit of lap traffic here, which could help me out. I've got not much more to push with. I'm trying to save what I've got left in case Weber does attack me. And he's definitely catching. Look at the speed difference. He's really gaining now. Oh, this is awkward. Very awkward. We're going to benefit though. Albon holding both of us up, but Weber loses a lot more ground. Come on, 3 laps to go. Next time we cross the line. 34, 35 and 36. Come on. We've got Kvyat and I believe George Russell. No, Kimi Raikkonen battling in front. Let's try and get past these guys. We're going to get DRS here. 2 laps to go.
We're leading our teammate by 19.1 seconds.
Try and use the DRS to save a little bit of VRS and fuel. Good exit there out of turn 1. Weber probably won't challenge. Maybe we'll get past Kimi. Hopefully he'll get out of the way as well. Please, please, please. There we go. Good exit. Good chance to save fuel in ERS. There we go. Going on to the last lap. Come on. Weber's got the run. He's going to try and have a look. Yes, we hold on around the outside. Come on. All right, let's turn it up. Let's give it everything we got.
Right, we have a very worn-out MG UK. Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire. This is your final lap of the race.
I'm struggling. That's another track extension there. Running a bit wide at turn 1. Weber's not going to challenge though. Come on, just one more straight. Very scruffy. I'm going to save that little bit of rich mix just in case. We're going to defend on this straight. It's the straight that Weber had a look at me on the last lap before the penultimate corner that worries me. Because I lose time through here. I really struggle through this section. Come on. We can do this. I can smell a win for the first time this season. Come on, just survive this straight. Weber's going to try and have a look. Burn up anything we've got left. There we go. 2 corners to go. Don't extend now, otherwise we're going to get a penalty. We're on 2 warnings. There we go. It's enough. Yes. Finally we're going to win. Get in. Forza Ferrari. Right.
Nice work. That's P1. Race win. Well done.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
There wasn't much between you and Lucas by the finish today. How does it feel, sharing a Formula 1 podium with your old F2 teammate? Was there really any competition for you today? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? Great. Well, that's everything.
Right, so here we have the final race results, and for the first time this season, after 9 races, we have picked up the W and our first win of Season 2. I said at the start of the video, it was all or nothing. Now, these next couple of races are crucial for the championship because it's going to dictate whether we focus on next year's car or we focus still on this year and try to push. And yeah, overall, very, very happy. And we had great pace here today. And Lucas Weber, P2, 2 tenths behind. He pushed me all the way. And ultimately, he was faster, but I was more intelligent and more smart in terms of the way I used the slipstream. Charles Leclerc probably would have won that race had he gone for a medium instead of a hard tyre in the strategy. So really, really strange run from him. But yeah, like I said, the stars aligned and it all worked out. Lewis Hamilton P4, Kevin Magnussen P5. Those two are battling the entire race, along with Devon Butler in P6, who eventually dropped off a little bit, and then Sebastian Vettel P7. So yeah, overall, a decent race for us. No complaints on my end. And it all worked out beautifully. And I was surprised with the pace, really surprised. The race pace was strong, especially after last year. In Season 1, I did 106% AI, just like in this race, and we went backwards, and the car was quicker then, so I'm really confused as to how we've gone quicker. So all I can explain is maybe just the patch, the way the car's quicker now. Maybe that just suits my driving style more around here. Either way, really good result, really, really happy with that. 26 points to our name, and then we've got behind Vettel, we've got Perez, Gasly in the Mercedes, and also Max Verstappen rounding out the top 10. But in terms of what that race means for the driver standings, let's have a little look. And we remain in P3, and we do cut down the gap to Weber and Hamilton a little bit, and we extend our gap over Leclerc, which is good. Sebastian Vettel still P6, and in terms of the constructors, we solidify our second place as we extend the gap over Haas a little bit, and we close the gap slightly to Red Bull by 2 points, ever so slightly. But now we move into the laptop, guys, because the next race is Silverstone. It's my home race, and I want to try and do well there. But first of all, let's see if we can try and see a couple of upgrades on for the next race in Silverstone, and see if we can try and get a little bit closer to the pack, because we're very close to Renault and Mercedes. So if we put some upgrades on, we should be able to overtake them in the next race. So let's jump into the laptop. Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and we have pretty much 1,500 points to spend, and the question is, where do we spend them? Now, the engine, you can see we're pretty much mid-table, and we've got a couple of minor upgrades available to us. In terms of aerodynamics, we have a couple of minor upgrades available to us, and then chassis, which is probably where we're worst off, we only have one minor, one major, and one ultimate. The ultimate one I cannot afford, otherwise I'd go for the ultimate one. So with that in mind, I want performance because the next race is my home race. So I'm looking at the engine and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I could do with an engine upgrade, to be honest. And they both look pretty tasty. So I'm going to go for just a pure engine power upgrade for the next race at Silverstone. And that leaves us with 729 points, which I believe is going to be a little bit too much to afford an upgrade. Yeah, just a little bit too much. So what we'll do is we'll just save those points and we'll invest those heavily in the next episode, because we're going to get a big boost, I think, in the next episode, hopefully with our contract bonus, because I believe if I go to the contract, we've got to do 8 practice programs, and we've got 1 weekend remaining, so we should do that goal as well. So we'll pretty much have the 700 points plus the usual bonus we get over the weekend, plus the 600 for hitting the practice program goal on screen there. So we should have, I want to say, maybe pushing above 2,500 points, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully that will be really, really good. And overall, in terms of upgrades, for the next race, we've got the engine upgrade on the way, of course, for Silverstone. And then after that, the next race after Silverstone is Germany. Hopefully we'll add some upgrades on for that race. And then we've got the ultimate aero on for Hungary as well. So we've got upgrades coming for every single race. And we're definitely making that push to at least become the 3rd best team on the grid right now. And hopefully in the next episode, if you guys look on screen right now, with the engine upgrade, we should maybe just overtake Renault for the 4th best team and retake that spot. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Career Mode. And if you did enjoy it, then drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and turn on notifications to not miss a video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.